Hi, my name's Pria,
Hi, my name's Emily.
Hi, my name's Claudia.
and we are all A2 media students at Christ the King Sixth Form College.
We chose 3 film trailers to analyse, 2 of which are horror and 1 romantic.
This is so we're really able to compare both the similarities and differences that are used to attract audiences.
I analysed the non-horror trailer, which was a romantic film called The Vow.
I analysed a horror trailer called Insidious.
And I analysed the horror trailer Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones. Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones is a horror film released January 2014, directed by Christopher B. Landon. This film was independently produced by Blumhouse Productions with a budget of $5 million. Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones is a psychological horror and was rated R in the United States for perverse language, some violence, graphic nudity and some drug use. However, in the UK, the movie was rated differently at Certificate 15. Along with posters, movie trailers also have codes and conventions, and both use similar techniques to attract and sway the desired audience to view the film. These conventions include the following: drama, accolades, sounds including backing tracks, and editing to create the desired atmosphere. These few conventions, combined with many others, are used to create a successful and professional trailer. All of these factors will be kept in mind when I analyse the movie trailers. The trailer of Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones begins like many others, with a green screen that tells the audience what audience are approved to see the preview. For Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, motion pictures have approved appropriate audiences. This green screen lasts for around 6 seconds before it cuts to a black screen, to then cut into the movie footage. The purpose of showing a green screen to the viewer is to ensure that they understand that what they might see may not be suitable for certain ages, and therefore children should not want to see this type of material. The genre of Paranormal Activity, The Marked Ones, from the outset is shown to be horror, but specifically a psychological horror. This idea is shown in the trailer throughout supernatural activities that occur to children or young teenagers. These supernatural activities usually include the victim being a trigger person for violent acts or being a victim of possession. In addition, another factor usually seen in a horror genre is when the protagonist, the main character, is a misbehaving teenager. In the opening trailer, we see air police along with police cars on the ground. This suggests to the audience that the area in which the trailer and film is set in is rough. This idea is then backed when the protagonist is in fact carrying a bat in his car. This suggests that there is violence, which would be a factor of teenagers misbehaving. We also get to see the protagonist's behaviour prior to being possessed, which shows the audience the extreme juxtapose of his personality before and after he's been possessed. The setting of the movie is in California, in the town Oxnard, where the protagonist lives in an apartment with both his father and his grandmother, which is in the heart of the town. This is not a commonly used setting for a horror film of this type, whereas a house near the woods, like in the film Possession, is. Although Paranormal Activity franchise have all been set in similar places and also shot in similar ways. However, Paranormal Activity The Marked One differs a lot. This may have been done to lure more audience in or to change the setting and keep existing fans interested in the franchise. Another factor that plays a large role in the movie trailer is the music and sound used. The rap type of music that is played in the beginning section of the film suggests to the audience what type of teenagers will be shown in the film. As said before, a norm in a horror film is for the protagonist to usually be a young child that becomes possessed, or in this case, a misbehaving teenager. This type of music is commonly used to set the scene for the audience. In addition to the music and sound, at times both absences of music and sound can create drama and tension, and therefore is just as powerful as music, as the audience is clueless as to what and when something is about to happen. Towards the end of the film trailer, a variety of different cuts, edits and special effects have been used in the leading up to the title of the film. These quick cuts are most likely to reveal the most shocking and frightening clips of the film. This technique is commonly found in most horror trailers to create not only an atmosphere but also suspense. In addition, these techniques allow the audience to be lured into the trailer in the minutes prior to the quick cut, before revealing the scariest parts. This also leaves the audience wanting to know more, as they have been shown the most dramatic part and are left hanging. The audience is likely to try and link the pieces of the trailer together, come to a conclusion, which in turn will make them want to see the movie. We can establish a clear narrative to Paranormal Activity, The Masked Ones. This is because we as the audience are both shown the equilibrium and disequilibrium of the protagonist and the story, the good side and the bad side. In order for the audience to know what's going on, the equilibrium must be shown at the beginning of any trailer, according to Todorov. The audience must therefore see the characters in a state of balance, both good and bad, before the disequilibrium, which is in fact the problem or situation the characters are faced with. In order to keep the film fast-paced, one strategy that is used is to keep scenes with dialogue to minimum, and to only use minimal text throughout the trailer and to the end. Not only does this keep the trailer fast-paced, but it also creates atmosphere. In Paranormal Activity marked ones, hardly any dialogue is used to tell the story, only dialogue from scenes which help the audience work out what is happening, and therefore the storyline. Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, hasn't used any intertextuality, although compared to the other existing Paranormal Activity films, the way the film is filmed is different. In the 4 films prior to Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, it is filmed using home surveillance footage for the most part, whereas in the 5th film I am analysing, the film mainly uses handheld cameras and no surveillance. The studio identified is in fact Blumhouse Productions, which is a minor/independent studio, unlike the majors such as 20th Century Fox. This suggests that the film's budget is limited when compared to the majors. This idea is practiced as the film, the Paranormal Activity marked ones, has only a budget of $5 million, which is drastically lower than budgets used by majors. George Diaz, Andrew Jacobs, Gabrielle Walsh and Richard Carbell are just a few of the starring actors. We do not know any of these actors, which suggests that they are not a USP, unique selling point. In addition to this, their names do not appear on the trailer, which again suggests that they are not a USP, and that the producers are focusing more on the film itself than the actors. None of the actors are famous. This is a commonly used technique for horror films or films of that genre, as famous actors will take the audience attention away from the scary aspect of the film. Paranormal Activity, the marked one's tagline reads, "You are one of us." This appears on the posters published by the movie and is placed top centre of the page. "You are now one of us" connotes to the reader that throughout the film there is a possibility that one of the characters goes through a change. This itself creates an enigma, as the viewer automatically wants to know what happens and who to. Paranormal Activity marked ones use the last 5 seconds of the trailer to promote their websites. This could be so, as there might be another sneak clip of the movie on their official website, which will also tease the audience further, creating more enigma. Additionally, it advertises the studio with the logo positioned on the bottom right hand corner, and also the film's Facebook page, Instagram and Twitter pages.
Supernatural film Insidious, which came out in 2011 and directed by James Wan and featured Patrick Wilson and Rose Byrne. I think the main codes and conventions of a horror film trailers are non-diegetic sound. This is used to set the mood, making the viewer's heartbeat rise. The location is typically an isolated place, e.g. woods or abandoned house. The villain is classically a ghost, mental patient or male. Age/audience-ification, followed by the distribution company logo. Any film released in the UK is awarded with an age certification by the British Board of Film Classification. This is to provide a guideline for the target audience. Film certification is very important for the horror trailers, as it can hint to the content of the film. Insidious has the film genre of horror and subgenre of supernatural thriller. I am made aware of the film genres by the general specific codes and conventions. Insidious trailer starts off with a man saying, "Are you ready?" This is warning the audience how intense the film is going to be, making them at the edge of their seats, in which the protagonist replies yes. This builds anticipation throughout the trailer. The protagonist's expression and desaturated grade of the shots creates an intense atmosphere. It also refers to the narrative of the film, as later on in the trailer we find out that everything goes wrong. After the previous shot fades out, an example of iconography was used in the trailer, as a close-up of the metronome appears. The diegetic sound of the metronome is a pace setter for the trailer. It sets a fast tempo, whilst giving the trailer a continuous fast and menacing pace. Another example of iconography is costume. This features in the trailer as the antagonist in Insidious is an evil manifestation. Special effects plays in relation to the genre and the narrative in Insidious, as a close-up shot combined with a sting gives the audience an evil thrill, followed by the antagonist created by special effects. He pops up behind the protagonist, making the audience feel uncomfortable. This follows the typical codes and conventions of a horror trailer. The typography used within the horror trailer is some way linked to the narrative codes and conventions of a horror trailer. For example, the typography used at the beginning of a trailer is to establish the production company. Typically, typography is written in the colour black and written on a red background. These two colours are usually associated with the horror genre, due to the red connoting a sense of fear, blood and pain, whilst black sets a dark and eerie tone to the narrative of the film. The next typography that we see is the title. Insidious is written in white typography, which is often associated with supernatural horrors. The title is shown several times throughout the trailer, using the same colour scheme so the audience remember the trailer and what it is called. There are many significant moments that have been picked to be put in the trailer. For example, Insidious starts off with a man saying to what the audience believes to be a main character, "Are you ready?" But later on, through the narrative, the audience find out that that man is not the main character. As the mother says to a young boy, "He's not in a coma, I don't know what to call it." This signifies that the boy is in actual fact going to be the main character. And we find out that he's the main focal point of the film. This helps the audience identify that the young boy is supernatural, sourcing the supernatural narrative. A significant moment when one of the experts' eyes are shown, with a close-up shot taking up the whole screen. Her eyes display that she has experienced a terrifying emotion, and I think this was chosen as the expert who you would typically go to for support and some comforting words. But because her eyes show terror, this will really frighten the audience. The only characters we meet in the trailer are the young boy's family. This hints that the narrative will evolve around him. A trailer conventionally does not follow a linear narrative. Typically, a trailer would only contain the best or the most entertaining bits, e.g. the middle, the beginning and the end all usually make the trailer. But Todorov's narrative theory is that only shots from the equilibrium and disequilibrium will be shown in order to encourage the audience and make them want to watch more. The enigma used to ensure that the audience are left puzzled in Insidious is created by the young boy, Dalton. The audience are made aware that something is wrong with him by the scenes of him in the hospital. Although the audience knows something is wrong with him, the trailer leaves them unknowing what the actual cause of his illness is. This question can only be answered by watching the film, hence this will encourage the audience to go and watch the film. An accolade is typically a key part of the trailer. If the audience liked another film from the same maker, producer, etc., it may encourage them to go see the film. The accolade in Insidious appears at the start of the trailer and says, "From the makers of Paranormal Activity and Saw." This is a selling point as it helps to promote the film and sets expectations for the audience. However, this trailer does not contain any reviews. Insidious trailer features an establishing shot of what is assumed to be the main character's house. The movement in which the shot has been filmed adds a slightly unnatural feel, which connotes that someone is watching the house. The shot is also a low angle, connoting the house is powerful. Later in the trailer, it cuts to an extremely high angle of the woman, once again connoting that she is being watched, leading to her feeling vulnerable. The contrast following the previous low shot and the high shot connotes that the house is watching them and contributes to the overall theme of the trailer, that the house is alive and haunting the family. Sound plays a big part in setting the theme of the trailer, as the metronome is used. The metronome fades in when the protagonist is asked if he's ready. The diegetic sound of the metronome is then a pace setter for the trailer as it sets a fast tempo. The trailer also includes many stereotypical non-diegetic and diegetic sounds in the trailer to establish the horror genre, such as whispering, a clock and a cracking door. All these sounds are used to create and build up tension in the trailer. To conclude, Insidious gained a $54 million profit which leads to Insidious being the most profitable film of 2011.
The film that I analysed was from another genre called The Vow, which was released in 2012, and this trailer is a romantic trailer. In both the horror trailers, the narrative isn't linear, as it is told in a jumbled up order. Although it seems to start with the beginning of the film, the main part of the trailer is in a mixed up order, creating enigmas as the audience are left trying to figure out what's going on. And this entices them to go and see the whole film. In comparison to this, the trailer for the romantic film, The Vow, the narrative in the trailer is linear and is told in order, from starting from the marriage of the relationship, to the accident, to what happened after the accident. The antagonists in both horror trailers are barely seen, and we only get short clips of them. However, in the trailer The Vow, the antagonist is clear, as the whole trailer is based around the young woman's relationship, the accident, and the majority of the trailer is based around her. In the two trailers, there are no real stars, and therefore they aren't highlighted in any specific way. But comparing this to the romantic film, The Vow, there is stars, and they are highlighted by close-ups and typography of their names. The Vow trailer includes the well-known character Channing Tatum. Using a well-known character in a trailer is used as a selling point, as an audience can identify the star and it will make them want to go and watch the film, especially if they are a fan of this star. This is different to the horror trailers, as well-known stars are not included in the trailer, as it would take away from the atmosphere and the narrative of the film. The lighting in both horror movies trailers is very low-key, signifying the sense of fear, danger, and making the audience feel uneasy. This can be compared to the high-key lighting used in the trailer The Vow, which connotes the sense of happiness and love. And the lighting is used in the trailer to help highlight the genre of the film, which is happy due to the genre of the film being. The first shots in the trailer is the audience certification information, which is displayed on a green background to make the audience aware of the content you may find within the trailer and the age which is suitable for the content of the trailer. The purpose of these shots is to make the audience aware of the content of the film through the audience certification information. As an audience, we know a film with an age rating of 18 may contain some explicit content. Also, to ensure no one underage is watching the trailer. Straight after the audience certification information, it goes into the trailer showing the vows at their marriage. After the first shot, it then has a shot of the production company. The purpose of stating the studio or production company at the start is so the audience can to it, as they may know other films made by the same company, increasing the expectations of the trailer. The trailer The Vow is from the romance genre. I can tell this through the genre-specific codes and conventions used within the trailer. For example, the use of several shots of the couple showing their relationship and how happy they are, the high-key lighting used to set their romantic tone, and the happy music. There are many significant moments that have been picked to be shown in the trailer. Two significant moments that I believe have been picked for a specific reason are the starting shot of the couple getting married and saying their vows. I believe this shot has been used to set the narrative, as the title of the film is The Vow, so this shot has been included to set the trailer, as it is about their marriage and the vows that have been made. Another significant moment that has been used and could also be seen as juxtaposed in the first moment is the car crash. This is juxtaposed with the first moment, as it shows the happy part of the relationship and then what happened and the bad part of the relationship. In the Vow trailer, it contains an upbeat music behind the trailer in some of the shots, which connotes the genre, whereas the horror trailers contain lots of non-diegetic sound effects to create the eerie tone. There are significant dialogues used within the key scenes, which are used to identify the narrative and character types. As the woman says, "Was anyone else her doctor?" This helps the audience realise that she doesn't remember who her husband is, as she thinks he is the doctor. The narrative in The Vow is based around the main female lead, Paige, forgetting who her husband is through amnesia. The narrative in The Vow is based around the female lead, Paige, forgetting who her husband is through amnesia. The enigma is whether Paige will remember her husband or not. The enigma entices the audience, making them want to go and see the film. Furthermore, whether she'll remember her husband or not. Then there's the writing and enigma question: what if 5 years of your life disappeared? This poses questions to the audience, making them put themselves in the character's shoes. The plain black writing and non-fancy font of the serif font allows the audience to feel the serious issue. Also, the use of the dull green background shows that this part of the film will be dull, which connotes the problem. The word disappeared appears in white. This connotes the reality of the issue and also connotes the actual word being disappeared, just like her relationship and her love interest. The camera angles in the vow set a fast tempo. Then after the first shots, the pictures of the pain in the lovers, which cuts quick and fades, which allows the audience to understand how the characters are feeling. It also shows how one of the lovers is trying to recover the forgotten love. Later on in the film, there are back and forth shots of happiness and sadness when the problem is again shown. This again reminds the audience that the film is like a roller coaster, which helps them understand that if they go to see the film, their emotions are going to be like a roller coaster. At the end of the trailer, shots of happiness and sadness are shown, and it allows the name of the film to pop up at the end. There are also credits of the institution names and the release date at the end of the film. The end is where the audience are left with their thoughts and emotions, which is used to create an impact of the trailer and show them how they would feel at the end of the film. Overall, I think the vow trailer will have a major impact on the film. The way the end of the trailer ends is the binary opposite of the happy scenes and the tense scenes, most definitely impacting the audience by making them go for a emotional roller coaster. This allows the audience to be active in the duration of the trailer and will always have them on edge.